I hope all is well. This one is going to be a little different. First, let me say what I need to say first. we live right now. Today is January 11th, 2025, and we're doing pretty good right now. I hope you're doing pretty good right now. And this one's going to be a little different. This one's about light roast. And we're going to see how well we like this coffee. This is a Sumatran coffee, and it was roasted light as I could control it, really. Well, it was actually mostly fine. It's been over a week since I roasted this coffee, so I think it's prime time for us to drink it. Please note, this is not my first time actually drinking this coffee. I drank this coffee a couple of days ago, trying to dial it in, play around with the new grinder, which we'll talk about another day. But this is the coffee. It's been about 6-7 minutes after brew. It was as perfect as you can think that a coffee can be. As everybody knows, it was the number and everything that everybody likes to talk about is as long as it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll talk about that again another day. I have my opinions about that. I think it's not a bad technique, but I do think it does help people understand if their coffee is going too fast or whatever. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff doesn't matter. It's all about what we taste in the actual cup of coffee. So in this case, instead of talking bad about it without it being present, I'm talking about it in its face. So let me finish up the rest of the things that I did with this coffee before we actually start to drink it. I brewed it at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I said, 2.5 minutes long on the actual brew. Hario V60. I used 5 setting on my grinder, which doesn't matter right now. I think I dialed it in pretty well. And let's smell the coffee first. It smells great. Coffee doesn't have a problem with smell. It's always about the taste. So, and other things that we did was that we used third wave water for light roasted configuration. And then I think that's more so it. We try to treat this coffee in the best light as possible. So let's go ahead and take a drink. Cheers. There's some fruit in it. There's some acidity. I'm getting a roundness of chocolate type of flavor coating my mouth. Acidity is there, but it's more so at bay. The flavors are kind of pronounced, but it's more so typical of what I usually taste in a light roasted coffee. I have actually been getting a lot better tasting coffees from the AeroPress, but that's more of a 1 to 10 ratio. This coffee is more so like a true 1 to 15 ratio. And what I've noticed with light roast is that I think it does better at a stronger strength level. Not so much that you get that strength of the coffee. You can decipher, you can tell what you're actually tasting in a cup of coffee. That's more so what I get when I'm actually drinking light roast at a higher or stronger ratio, like a 1 to 10 ratio. But this is a 1 to 15. I wanted to do 1 to 15 because that's the way I normally drink coffee. I'm sure other people probably drink it like that too. But we all have our preferences. We all like what we like. And this is the coffee as it is right now. I think the acidity is a little bit more forward now. I don't taste the bitterness of the coffee. So I believe from my palate and my understanding of coffee and me playing around with, gadgets and all that good stuff, that this coffee was brewed excellent, as best as it could be. I mean, yes, technically I can go ahead and get a TDS reading, but I think it's relatively fine on the grinder right now. And I believe if I grind it a little bit finer, you'll get more of the bitterness over extraction of the coffee. So it is what it is. This is the coffee as it is right now. So what does that mean for us? I'm not still happy and satisfied with this coffee. I'm really not. I will try it more so as an AeroPress to dial that in to see how it works. I've been working on a 1 to 10 ratio for 10-minute brew on an AeroPress, and I've been liking that coffee a lot better. But on my daily driver on the Hario V60, I use a switch, but for the most part, that didn't really matter as much because of the way I brewed the cup of coffee. It just helped initially with the bloom of keeping all the coffee agitated or doing this thing for the 30 seconds. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that light roast did have a place in my arsenal years ago. And I think the reason why it doesn't as much now is because no matter which coffee that I choose, they taste the same. And that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing and understanding this year is like tasting the clarity in light roast too, not just in medium and dark roast. Because this is that coffee was roasted differently in medium and dark roast. And I actually had a cup of the medium roast and it was really good. I think it was slightly over extracted, but I can taste different parts of what the coffee was telling me. And as I drink this light roast right now, or talking to you, I don't get that clarity. I don't get that loving, glowing reviews about what light roast is all about. It's clean. It's very approachable. I think people will like this cup of coffee, but me in particular, I don't. And I don't know if that's just me, my taste buds changing, me liking clarity from a medium roast and a dark roast. I don't know really what that is all about here. Do you go through that too? Those are some of the things that I think about constantly when it comes to this whole coffee thing. Like, how much can we really truly understand coffee? Am I doing the recipe wrong? Am I not tasting it right? How do you go about drinking your light roasted coffee? Because as we sit here and drink this coffee as it cools, it's not getting any better. It's clean, it's clinical. As people will say I'll use another analogy, is like camera lenses, as I know that you see that I'm talking through one or not. Is that sometimes these new lenses, they're too clean, they're too clinical, they're too perfect. And I wouldn't necessarily say that this coffee is perfect, but it is clean. But I don't see the big difference in what you're really getting out of coffee when most of the light roast tastes more so the same. Again, I told you my recipe. Am I doing it wrong? I can come up here and tell you or ask you if I'm doing this perfectly wrong. What kind of things am I supposed to be tasting this light roast? Those are some of the things that I think about constantly. I'm going to figure it out. I know you're going to help me along this journey. But as we talk and ponder and get frustrated, I think that's part of the journey of really understanding light roast. Meaning, for instance, when I first started messing around with this coffee, I was like, okay, I went to the extreme. So I went ahead and brewed this coffee at 210 degrees. And it was loud. It was violent in my mouth. All I can taste was the acidity, the lemony type of acidity on this cup of coffee. And it didn't work for me. So then I brought it back down to 200. It's better, a lot more approachable, but still had that, I wouldn't say as violent, but it had that sharpness of the acidity that I didn't really care about. There's no real sweetness in this coffee at all. And I think that's the biggest thing that I have an issue with, is because at the end of the day, are we talking about balance here? What kind of balance are we really talking about? Because right now, even though this coffee is a lot better at 180 degrees, And the reason why I came down so low with the temperature is because I think that's more so the best way to actually dial in your sweetness and acidity and kind of find the balance that works for you. But I don't think me going down to 170 degrees is going to make it better. I know I would probably have to change the grind size, go a little bit finer. But I think we're still kind of playing more so the same game of trying to get the sweetness out of the coffee. I might try that next time. I might try that after we conclude this video. But what kind of balance are we really trying to find in this whole light roasted type of thing? Because it's very hard. It's very hard to get sweetness out of a light roasted coffee. At least to me, that's the way I look at it. And I wasn't trying to make fun of light roast, as I call it, vegetable, tomatoey, extremely unripe, because that's what is happening here. Like at times when we drink these light roasted coffees, these specialty type of coffees, they couldn't be just one hit wonders, more so in the acidity part. And I think that's probably part of it. When I was first starting to drink coffee years ago, I was a big acidity person. That's all I wanted to taste. And that's probably why I gravitated to light roasted coffees. But as I started to roast coffee darker, a little bit more developed, especially for clients, I started to notice more of a balance of sweetness in the cup without even knowing that that's what I was tasting. So those are some of the things that I think about. Those are some of the things that we are going to figure out with this whole light roasted thinking. Because at the end of the day, I don't think light roast has an issue with acidity whatsoever. Acidity is going to be there no matter what for the most part. And kind of playing around with the grind size, but more importantly, the temperature. I think that's where we can find, so to speak, the sweet spot in this whole game. So let's continue to drink it. It's not changing much. A little bit of an oaky taste to it. And that's the thing about this coffee. I've given it the best shot to shine. I dialed it in as best as I could. To me, I've provided it the best type of water to bring the nuances of what we're trying to taste in a cup of coffee. I don't really taste the clarity of this cup of coffee. So there is some work to be done. And I don't know really how else we're really going to get there. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to understand light roasted coffees. We're trying to see what is the real big appeal about this whole light roasted thing. At least me. I don't know about you, but do you go through that sometimes? Do you taste like absolutely all the clarity that you can get out the light roast? Do you taste sweetness? Have you tasted sweetness in light roast over 200 degrees Fahrenheit? How do you go about extracting a balanced cup where it's not just acidity involved into the whole game of drinking this cup of coffee? Because yeah, I am grouping all light roast together. I am trying to be as objective in my analysis when I look at light roast. But in this case, I believe that we do have something to where we can get better at when we're drinking this type of cup of coffee. I know we can get there. So this is me just kind of talking, rambling about this particular cup of coffee. I don't taste the uniqueness in this cup of coffee, especially it being Sumatran. I do taste it in the medium roast. I'm sure that I will taste it in the darker roast. But as it is right now, I truly really don't want to even finish this cup of coffee. And that's not me being a dick about it. That's just me being honest about it. So I'm not going to finish this cup of coffee. So we'll see. We can go back to the drawing board and figure out this light roast game. So do you have any questions for me? Do you feel the same way? Am I BSing or bullshit? Or I guess that's what that means. But I guess what I'm saying is that what kind of things do you go through when you brew a cup of coffee that's a light roasted coffee? Do you enjoy it? Do you care for it? Do you look at it to the point to where they all taste the same? or are they different? So that's what I got for you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. It's okay, Everyday Being signing out.